Hello and welcome. Before we proceed to the game level design tutorial, don't you think that this map looks a bit dark? Well, on my screen it looks washed out without proper colors, so let's make a change, and now everything looks more juicy and clear. I've changed the file responsible for rendering, and we gonna change few settings in a config file, which means that you have to prepare for a little hacking. Let's go. So, this is my pen drive with Quake 2. I'm gonna go inside to the downloads folder, and I'm gonna open the update file version 320 with a 7-zip tool. Open, and from inside I want to get this file, ref gl dll extract. Okay. Now I'm gonna change the name of this file. I'm just gonna add that at the end, 320. Now I know this is the file from a version update 320. Now cut and go to Quake 2 and paste here. So now I have a version GL and GL 320. Why? This is very important lesson. When making a map, you should test your map under many different settings, and it would be great to test it with different renderers. This is a renderer library. So this one looks a bit washed out and dark on my screen, and this is brighter and more juicy. It's older, but it looks better. So I'm gonna use this one, and as far as I know, most players use this version or similar. Where there are many clients of Quake 2, and sadly many of them have more or less things broken. People are trying to improve this game, but sometimes they improve one thing and they break the other. That's the way it is. So I'm gonna use this file. To do it, I'm gonna go to BaseQ folder, and I have to make my own config file. You should make your separate config file for using with QuaRK as well, because we need to put there few special things. So Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. Now I have a copy. Now I'm gonna change the name of this copy to QuaRK. Nice. And I'm gonna open it. This is text editor. You should have some text editor in your system. If you don't, this is lightweight, simple, free, and very, very useful tool, Notepad++. The address is here. I like it very much to play with text files, and now I have to find vid. Okay. This line tells my system to use version GL. I want 320. Done. Now, under the key called Alt, I want to use something like no clip. No clip, it's a function that allows me to fly around and go through walls It's very useful, I would say necessary, during development. So if you want to use this function, no clip, you should put this line after some of the keys. I don't know which one you like, Q or whatever. Oh, I have no clip under the Q. Why? Doesn't matter. It can be here. Anyway, at the very beginning of this file, we need set cheats to 1, because this function noClip will work only if we switched on cheats during the game. That's why this line has to be here. Save it, and that's it. Now we are ready to play the real game editor. Let's start with the simplest map, and let's go to the options, configuration, and when Quake 2 is marked, here we need to add a line set exec QuaRK CFG. So I want to exec this config file I've made every time Quake 2 will run. So I have to put this part here. Apply. Okay, that's it. Now, question. Do you recognize this page? Did you read a map tutorial? Did you or did you not, huh? Well, some pictures may be a bit outdated, but this is very important reading, and without it you may not handle this stuff as well as you should. Anyway, let's go. So now it's time to talk about basic functions. First and most annoying and most used is zoom. Zoom can be applied by pressing left and right mouse button. Left and right. No. What just happened? I don't know. So I have created something. No, I don't want this. Right and left? And no. So let's press both keys together, and now I can zoom in and zoom out. Again, left and right mouse button together. Zoom in, zoom out. Okay, you can get used to it. This is the worst and I think the only bad thing about this editor. Everything else is average or quite good. Other way to zoom in and zoom out on this weird gold thing, there is a scroll, and this thing can zoom in and zoom out. Okay. And here is something we can press. When I click zoom, this is nothing happens. Let's zoom in, zoom. Okay, so this is average size, most sensible, but it has this little icon with the arrow here, so it gives us, it's one to one. Okay, it gives us many different sizes. 2 to 1, 10 to 1. My god, this is big. Okay, so we have one way to press 2 buttons on the mouse, most useful. Second way to use this scroll makes no sense. Third way to press zoom and to have size 1:1. Okay, it can be used. And fourth way is to press this icon and to choose the size we want. So we have 4 different ways to do one thing. Someone may ask why there is no support for a scroll wheel. I don't know. This application was created many years ago, in the times when most mouses was provided with 2 buttons and nothing else, and in the times where a mouse had a little ball inside. So the very beginning, it was many years ago, no one was thinking about the scroll wheel, and they didn't bother or they couldn't add support for a scroll wheel. Well, okay, next thing, what is this gold compass? Well, it is a compass. East, so red, west. Actually it shows degrees, 90, 20, 70. For me, the only thing that matters, XY, this red arrow. It's good that it's red, because this color, this one arrow, gives me a clue what kind of rotation I can get. This is the only useful thing. So if I click on it and move around, all my map can be rotated with a step of 15 degrees, I believe. 15, 30, yeah. So it's not very fluent. It's 15 degrees, but I never needed anything more than that to rotate whole map. So this should be enough. And the last thing, this scroll, it's for tilt or pan, or I've never used it, but yeah, map can be tilted on the side. Don't know for what, but it's here. And this rotation is quite useful from time to time. Okay, now what we want to do, we want to mark something and move it around. So I have to click on it. This is the wall, but I want the opposite wall, so I will click again, and now the opposite wall is marked. And if I grab this wall by the black box in the center, my cursor changes. I can move it around. Okay, if I click here, nothing happens. I can create some shapes, something happens, never used it. This black dot, when I click again, the first one is marked. When I click again, the second one is marked. But what if I want to mark this shape here that represents my starting point? I have to click on this cross inside, so I have to be very precise. That's why you need a good mouse with a good mouse pad. When I click once, this is the wall. Again, this is my info player start, and again this is opposite wall. So when I have many items one behind another, I just have to click and click and click and choose in this way what I want to work with. Okay, so I've clicked this wall. I know how to move it around here and there. That's nice. But what if I want to resize? I want to make it bigger or smaller. Well, I have to click on those little boxes, this one or this one. My cursor changes, and when I click here I can resize, make it smaller, make it bigger. Okay, so I can move and I can resize. Okay, and what if I want to make it fat, let's say, from this side of view, because I was moving this, let's say, backward. Let's go back one step. How do I orientate myself on the map? This rotary thing gives me a chance to rotate the map, but that's not what I want. If I rotate the map too much, I will be lost. Sometimes it's needed, but most of the time I focus my position on the position on the starting position of a player, and I don't add any other starting position than this one until I finish or almost finish whole map. So this is my starting position, and this ball, this on a stick, let's say, it shows in what way I will be looking when I appear on the map. Let's try this on. Okay, so I'm watching forward. Let's keep it that way, that I'm watching forward, obviously. This is my forward wall, so this is my backward wall. This is my left side, and this is my right side. And this applies only right now because this is my starting position. That's how I orientate myself on the map. On the map that is so small, it's one small box, it's very easy to remember which side is which. But on a map where is a lot of rooms, a lot of weird tight places and corridors, and it's a maze, it's much harder. So I tend to move my starting position and orientate myself through this starting position. Okay. So this is front wall, this is back wall, this is left wall, and this is my right wall. That's how I orientate myself. If I put my starting position here and I will look here, everything will change. This gonna be my front wall, this gonna be my left side, right side, and my back side. We have to make it clear at the very beginning to know what I'm talking about, because I have to explain things in relation to my position, so it's quite hard. Anyway, I can mark things. What is this little thing with the cross, this small box? Let's click on it. This is light, so I've clicked twice, and now I can move it here and there. Nice. Let's click this wall. I can resize it, yes, and I can grab a corner and make it any shape I want, and go there, and now it's weird. Okay, let's try this on. build failed because it creates the lin, a hole in my map. That's bad. Let's close it. And this arrow shows me that there is a hole and I could go to the outside world, which isn't good. If there is a hole, even the smallest hole in the map will not compile, will not run. So keep it in mind. Every map has to be airtight. So this shape I've made from the wall maybe looks nice, but it leaves an opening. Okay, so let's close it. I want to turn back to the previous shape. What would I do? Let's go to edit, and we have something like undo. So this is the list of my steps, and I was moving our polyhedron, and I was moving vertex, changing the shape. Let's go to this step. Okay, nice. In this place I was moving the light. Now the wall is okay. Let's check this out. Compiles quite well. Okay, so now let's examine moving back. If I make an error, what I can do to move back. Edit, undo move, Ctrl Z, redo move, Shift Ctrl Z. Move forward one step, move backward one step. This is something what I use quite often. Let's say if I move this light and I don't like it, I'm clicking on the keyboard Ctrl Z and it moves back one step. If I move it here and then move it here, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Okay, how many steps I've made to get to this position? Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. I was playing with the starting position, Ctrl Z, it was here, Ctrl Z, I was moving it, and so on. So I was stretching this wall, moving around. So Ctrl Z on the keyboard is the one of the most used shortcuts I use. It's a blessing. What if I want to put something new on the map, new shape? Well, let's go to the left side, and here is a little yellow box. When I click on it, cube. So that's what I've got, a cube. Now I can make it. Okay, lower, put here, a bit smaller, and make it something like this. And now let's take a look. This is the shape I've made. It doesn't look very beautiful, but it's here. It works. Nice. Let's go back. What if I want to create more complicated shape? Well, here above this yellow box, it's a blue box. It shows new polyhedrons. This is new cube, this is new polyhedrons. We have to choose a name for those new things, new blocks, new, what now to call it, new shapes, new bricks. They call it polyhedrons. It's everywhere in the menu and so on, so let's call it that way. Polyhedrons. Simple cube, like this one, a platform, a cube that is shape and ready to step on it, let's say. Something like Y view wall, then something like X view wall. Well, many different names. A wedge, okay, nice. And a pyramid, this is quite useful. The one that I would call that is useful. And another one, tetrahedron. This made from triangles only. Interesting. And triangular prism. Okay, something like a slope. Nice. But this slope, is it very useful? Sometimes. This one made from triangles, I don't know. Pyramid, yes. But every other shape, I tend to make it on my own. So how I'm making them? Well, in most of cases, I'm just clicking the yellow one and I'm changing the size and shape to my liking. 2-3 moves and I can get whatever I want, almost, right? And I get again this one and I can move it like so, and this is the weird shape. Let's see how it looks on the map. This one I've made, this one was ready. Pyramid is okay. There would be a lot of work to make it so nice. This one, well, I have never used yet. And the slope, well, maybe. Let's go back from this blue list. To be honest, the one thing I like is a pyramid. Everything else I can do faster by myself by clicking this yellow box and changing the shape and size and whatever. Now, complex polyhedrons. Prism. Let's take it outside. Another prism, 8 sides. This one is good for pipes. And 10 sides. This is almost round. Another one, QuArK. Okay, this is the weird one. Let's remove this and remove it. How am I removing this stuff? I have to click on it, and I have a magic button on my keyboard called delete, and I press on it and this stuff disappears. This one will be here for our viewing, and click on it, delete, click on it, delete, click on it and delete. If I click on this one and the right mouse click gives me something, yes, delete. When I click on this one and use my right mouse button, I have delete. But there is no time to use right mouse button when I have my other hand unused. So click on it and delete on a keyboard. Now, complex polyhedrons, rhombicuboktahedron. Wow, this is a ball like something. And complex polyhedrons, cone, 8 sides. Okay, this is nice. Can be interesting. Well, this one is too big, doesn't fit to my map, and I want to see it. So, resizing. How to resize something I've made. Well, here, up here, I have enlarge. Oh no, too big. Control Z. And I have shrink. Oh, now it's smaller, and now it fits to my map quite well. Let's see how they looks. Okay, this is kind of a ball, it's too big. This is a weird shape, but interesting. And this is a cone. Okay, can be used as a roof for some ancient building or something like that. Nice. Enlarge, shrink, make it smaller, then inflate, deflate. Well, it shrinks bit by bit. Interesting. This one and this one and this one have a configuration file, configuration place, which lives here. This icon CFG config. Let's click on it, and it shows zoom factor, inflate, deflate. So this icon, inflate, deflate, it can make it things smaller, like so, -8, or make things bigger. Let's make 8. Rotation angle 15. Can we make 10? Yes, and zoom factor 2. What else? That's it. And now if I press inflate, deflate, it will grow. Yeah. And now if I change to -16, it will be smaller, faster. Yes. Okay, too small. You left 8 faces unused. Delete them now. No. I don't want I don't want to use this move now. Right. So we can put some shapes on the map. We can move them around. We can make them larger or smaller. We can put the shape and change it. Not every time. I want to grab this point of a cone and I can't move it. If I grab this corner, well, I can, but only for a little small amount. Don't know why, but in this way I can move quite freely. So moving isn't always that easy and can give unexpected shapes. Sometimes it's bad because we don't know what we're gonna get, but sometimes it's good. If I want to make some random rocks, I can get the shape just and something weird will come out. That's what I want. Not very good. You left face unused. Delete. Yeah. This is weird. And this one, and this way, well, 2 faces unused. Delete. Yeah. This is weird, and this is weird. Let's see how it looks on the map. Whoa, okay. It's weird. But it's okay. I wanted weird thing. but it's boring. Each one looks have the same texture, so it's boring. Let's do something about it. I have my, let's say, rock, and I want to change the texture of it. Let's go to the left side, and here, polyhedron view, and in polyhedron view I have some information. Where is the center of the polyhedron? Sometimes it's useful, but not very often. The name of the texture and the folder where it comes from. So this is nice. And this icon here, it choose the texture. Okay, it opens this box with the textures to choose, and let's take something like I want rocks here. I've got rocks, and this one, let's click here, and these are the folders from Quake 2, and these are the folders with the names of a category of a texture, and I want environment. Well, not everything is present right now, because I'm showing you this on the demo version of Quake 2. If you gonna buy a full version, all those boxes will be filled with textures. Now we have only one rocks. Let's use it. And this one little ball will be made of this metal. Okay, let's see how it looks. So now I have rocks. They look like weird rocks, and this thing that looks made of concrete or metal or whatever it is. Okay, so I can change a texture, I can change a shape and size, but the map is so small. How can I change a size of a map? Let's check this out. Now, border walls here are in a separate folder with the name border walls. East, west, north, south, sky and floor. I would say front, back, front left, back and right. Why? Because this is my starting position. I'm looking this way, so this is front, this is back, this is left, this is right. If I go, let's say, here and move like this, this is front, this is left, this is back, this is right. Anyway, let's go back here. This is the list of all items on our map, and walls are existing in a separate folder. So when I mark this folder, all items in this folder are marked. And now when I want to enlarge, make it bigger, it will enlarge again. Ooh, this is big. Let's zoom out. Whoa, this is quite big. So it enlarges all items in this folder, and it looks like so. Whoa, now it's quite big, and I feel so small. Cool. So now I have a lot of place to play with. And I can run, but I feel small. Why? Let's do something about it. I feel small because all textures were enlarged with polyhedrons. So what I mean by that, if I click on this and click one click on this white empty blue box, it marks this side of the wall, and I can see in this little window. Let's enlarge our window with the textures. Oh, where can I grab this? Okay, now here is information that texture scale is 4 by 4, 4 times bigger than it should be normally in length, let's say, and in spread from top to bottom and from left to right. Okay, so if I make here one space 1, it will be 1 to 1, and if I make 5 to 5, let's make 1 to 1 average size. So I have to make this wall as well 1 to 1. Well, but I don't want to click on every wall and change the size of every texture because it's boring. So what would I do? I have all those polyhedrons with textures in a separate folder, right? So I can easily mark them all. I click on the first one and I click on the last one, but the shift key on the keyboard is pressed. So I pressed shift and now I click on the last one. And I have marked all of them. And now when I go to textures and here, face view, here is a line of weird icons and they can do magic. Adjust texture to the face, adjust texture to fit the face, adjust reset texture scale 1 to 1. This one here. I can write down here 1 space 1, but I can just press this icon and it's done. It's 1 to 1. All boxes, all walls, every side is adjusted 1 to 1. Just one click. This is pretty useful. Let's see how it looks now. Now it looks, well, the size is more sensible. I would move those textures to start from this line. I wish to move them up a little bit because right now I don't like them. This line should be on the ground, but well, we've made one step forward, and now when my texture is in a scale 1 to 1, so when I move I feel that I'm moving. Nice. Let's go back. Let's mark again all items, all polyhedrons, texture, and adjust texture on face, but keep scaling to minimum. So try to put all textures on the face of a polyhedron in a way that will align with borders of a polyhedron, but try to keep the scaling 1:1 if it's possible. Let's press this icon. What happened? Okay, okay, okay. That's something I like, because everything lines up. It starts where it should, it ends where it should. Cool. Okay, I can work with it. I have a big room to play. I have some weird shapes. Nice. Let's go back. Okay, so I think that's enough for today. I had a flu and my throat is killing me right now. So we have to finish here. One last thing. Let's save our work. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a folder for my stuff, which is on a pen drive, and I will make a new folder with a name. Let's call it maps. Yeah, on the top. And I will put this map here, file, and we have two options: save in QuaRK Explorer. This is a fancy way of saving it, and it creates one file, and in this one file we can make many versions, many steps of it. Okay, let's try this map 01. Okay, save as file. Anyway, one file I have to create. Access violation. Save in computer. What? File, save as file. Now it works. Oh my god, I think that's enough for today. Definitely. I had a flu recently and my throat is killing me, so that's enough. Those few minutes of rambling. And now we're gonna save our work. I will click file, and I have an option to save it in QuaRK Explorer, and it's convenient way to save many versions, many steps of a map in one file, but didn't work in a moment. Save as file didn't work as well. I think that Windows 10 I'm using here, despite that is clean installation, it breaks, and it's not the first thing that breaks here on the Windows 10. So I'm gonna switch to Windows 7. I have an old computer that works as a working station only for Quake 2 and QuaRK, so I'm gonna stick with Windows 7. Old was better. Anyway, save as file, and I've made a folder, save as file. Now it doesn't work. Fuck it. Save it. Save as file. Save a file for me, please. In my computer, nothing is visible. No, I have already saved. Let's pray for you. Save as file. Make a name for this file. Put this on your USB stick. That's enough for today. Oh, one last thing. I promise. Last thing. If you are using demo version and there is not many textures, we don't need right now very many textures to practice. But if you want more and you don't want to spend money on Quake 2 yet, in the next chapter, next time, I will show you how can you get some nice custom textures for free. The only thing that will be needed from you is patience. So, see you next time.
Follow me. I'll show you the way. Follow me. Follow me. I'll show you the way.